Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Real Reputation, my series where I dissect the life and times of some of our most prolific filmmakers. Today on our pedestal and hot seat is Anne Hathaway. She is somebody who, I guess I'll just say it, I've been a big fan of hers forever, pretty much at this point in time, but some of you have done my girl dirty, and don't think that I'm going to forgive you for that. I certainly was not one of those people. But yes, we're talking about Anne Hathaway today, and as I was looking through her credits, and there are a lot of them, it's a lot to have to go through, and we're not necessarily going to go through all of these credits. I was just kind of pinpointing a few different interesting turns I saw in her career and some of the big milestones. And so I think that that'll be a really interesting conversation that leads us into a really big year that she has in 2026. Much like Zendaya, who I talked about in my previous video, she has like 5 or 6 different movies coming out this year, one of which we've already discussed with Mother Mary, but don't worry, we've got The Devil Wears Prada 2 coming out just later this week, so there is a lot to get into, so let's dive right in. Let me paint the picture for you real quick. It's 2001, Emma is 6 years old, and she sees a movie called The Princess Diaries. And she's introduced to this one new actress named Anne Hathaway, who is playing alongside Julie Andrews as she discovers she's a princess and she has a whole new life to live. That's going to have a big impact on any young girl, and that's exactly what happened with me. When I saw Anne in this movie, I was like, who is this? Who is this girl who, isn't the most popular, isn't the most gorgeous? Although I really wasn't having a lot of these feelings at 6 years old, but when I rewatched this movie later on, I kind of found those similarities in my life. I mean, The Princess Diaries, it's such a great film. It was pretty much Anne's introduction into the world. It's her first movie, and I just kind of loved the vibe that she was going for in this movie, and I felt like she was a very down-to-earth actress, very up-and-coming actress. It did lead to some other similar types of movies, Ella Enchanted, for example, and of course, Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement. I don't know, I just felt like we had a girl for ourselves, like somebody who was so cool, super smart, wasn't super flashy about it. I just remember thinking, Anne Hathaway, that's kind of the person that I am gonna be and I'm gonna follow, and I feel like she's kind of remained that person for me to this day. Even as she kind of changed out of these more children-esque films and started doing projects like Brokeback Mountain, The Devil Wears Prada, Rachel Getting Married, which is such a cool, underrated film. I just still felt like she is such a cool actress who maybe sometimes does a few films for them, as in to make the other people happy, to make the studios happy, and then does a few films for her. I feel like this stretch of films that I just listed off, Brokeback, Devil, and Rachel, I feel like they were kind of a mixture of both. I mean, doing Brokeback Mountain right after you have done The Princess Diaries, a whole 180 shift. But it was really nice to see her in a bit more of a meaningful project. Even she has talked about it in some recent videos about how impactful that set was. Director Ang Lee, Heath Ledger, Michelle Williams, and Jake Gyllenhaal all in a film together. I'm going to say that's pretty much a score. And then pretty much 2 films later, The Devil Wears Prada. Meryl Streep as your number 1 gal on the call sheet. Okay. Stanley Tucci and Emily Blunt. Okay, cool, I guess. So it was so amazing to see that this person was not stuck in a Disney bubble, was not stuck playing just a certain type of character, that she had range. I think maybe this is the first actress that I fully remembered seeing that with, somebody who can kind of do it all. There have been many an actress after that point, but I think because I was introduced to Anne at such a young age, I just fully remembered seeing, oh, this is what you can do in this job and when you're really good. And then again, as I said, the one for them, one for her, I feel like that continues. There's Bride Wars, which most people probably are not going to say that that is a prestige film. I think it's fun personally, but maybe that was a one for them. Maybe Valentine's Day was also a one for them. Alice in Wonderland. I don't know, maybe she really wanted to work with Tim Burton. Maybe that was a one for her. But something like Love and Other Drugs, maybe that was a one for her type of pick where once again, she gets to team back up with Jake Gyllenhaal. Maybe she really wanted to explore this very complicated relationship that was between the two of them. I don't know. Then we really get into her 2010s, which, oh boy, what an interesting period. Of course, the high of this period is she wins an Oscar for Les Mis. It's a great performance. I like it. I think she deserved to win, and I'm glad that she won. And I know that she was glad that she won. And God forbid a girl is happy that she wins an Oscar. And then it just became really awkward, where everybody started turning on this girl for literally doing nothing. I still don't understand it. I won't name any names, but we do have some young actors who are pretty much putting it out there that they want to win awards, and I see people championing them for that. But it was a different time in 2011, 2012 when that happened. I don't know. I think you can see in her filmography that followed thereafter that it was a bit of a tough time for Anne for a few years. I think a big bright spot is her being in Interstellar, and I'd never really know if this is correct or not about Christopher Nolan handing her a lifeline when nobody else would. They, of course, worked together on one of the Dark Knight movies. I'm going to choose to believe that that is correct. And then things started shifting a little bit in the later part of this decade. She's talked about this movie a lot, and it is a really interesting film. It's called Colossal. It's one of the lesser known ones of her filmography, I would say. She is coming back home, and somehow there are like reports of this giant creature wreaking havoc, and she kind of maybe sort of realizes that she may be the cause of that. And I just remember watching it like, wow, what is this movie? But again, it kind of got at a lot of the things that I really like with Anne Hathaway. I'm going to pick one for me. I'm going to pick something a little bit different and outside of the box, and Colossal is all of that and then some. There may be a few more stinkers in the later part of this decade. We've got Serenity, which I thought was very interesting. I think a lot of other people do not think so. We've got The Hustle, which also, questionable, but we got Ocean's 8, and that is a banger. She's with an amazing female cast. I mean, her and Sandra Bullock and Kate Blanchett and Helena Bonham Carter. I mean, cool. Rihanna, cool. But the 2020s have so far been Anne Hathaway's big comeback. I don't even want to call it comeback because she never really went away, but I think it's oh yeah, people have finally gotten over nothing. And so I think that she has just kind of she's been the cool girl. She's again talked about this in interviews, how I'm just going to ride out this wave because I'm not always going to be mother. I'm not always going to be at the top of people's good graces. She will for me. But again, some of you, I don't trust you. Not everything has been a full blown out hit, but I just feel like Anne continues to hone her craft and always be a really welcoming figure on my screen. Eileen, this film did not really get the best reception. I mean, I don't think it is a perfect film by any means, but oh my God, Anne Hathaway as this femme fatale psychologist character who is just so juicy and delicious and owns every inch that she is on the screen. And she is I don't know, she's just kind of like an enigma that you have to you can't stop looking at her and you want to be in her orbit. I mean, that is exactly the role that I want to see for Anne Hathaway. And I love what she does in that movie. It is so good. Yes, the ending itself is wonky and weird, but I cannot fault anything that she does in that movie. We've got The Idea of You, in which she plays a late 30s, early 40s woman who falls in love with a Harry Styles-esque boy band member. And it's also not one of the best movies, but I just really loved what she was doing. I'm so entranced by Anne Hathaway and this later part of her career because she's grown into her acting skills. She knows what works. She knows how to elevate a project, and I just thought that she had really great chemistry with Nicholas, who co-stars in the film with her. Oh, and let's not forget to mention she looked really good in this movie. Like, the styling was great. Eileen, the styling was so great. Oh my gosh. And then we have this next lineup of projects. I've already discussed Mother Mary and how interesting that role was to see of her as more of this very meek character, which I haven't seen that in a little bit of time. It's been a while that, especially in this decade, that she has taken on someone like that. But I'm so excited to see what the rest of 2026 has for her. We've got The Devil Wears Prada 2, which I'm sure is going to be a really fun nostalgia fest. We've gotten a few early reviews to come out. When this video publishes, I think that is when the full reviews will come out. I'm not going to read them because I don't want to spoil anything, but so excited to see her and the team back together. We've got another Christopher Nolan team up with her in The Odyssey playing Penelope. I don't know how much of a part she's going to get with that. Of course, she's playing Odysseus's wife who's back home waiting for him to come back. I mean, who wouldn't want to come back to Anne Hathaway? I'm just throwing it out there. And I know she's been fighting off a lot of suitors, so it'll be very interesting to see what that all entails. We saw the first trailer of The End of Oak Street, where some weird dinosaurs appear. I don't know what to make of that quite yet, but we're gonna see what that is all about. And we also just recently saw the first look at Verity, starring, get this, her and Dakota Johnson, my two girls. It is a Colleen Hoover book, so we're a little iffy on that, especially because the last few projects have been a little iffy when it comes to those adaptations. But, you know, I liked what I saw in the trailer, and I also have no idea what this book is about based on this very psychosexual thriller nature that I'm seeing in the book, but it should be a ball. Anyway, this video is getting very, very long. I can continue talking about Anne Hathaway all day if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to. We're just gonna have to wait and see what this rest of the year brings. But if I know Anne Hathaway, it's that she always surprises me. She always brings her A game to a movie, whatever her role in it may be. And I've really enjoyed following this wonderful actress's career, and I'm here for an exciting year and future to come for her. Let me know what you think of Anne Hathaway in the comments below, the good, the bad, the questionable choices here and there. And I will talk to you guys next time.